Hi, I'm Phoenix. Today we're going to be talking about animation canceling. Now, first to start off, let's kind of define what animation canceling actually is. So, what an animation cancel is let's say that you press a button and this starts an action. For instance, you hit the melee button in Overwatch. You're going to perform your melee attack, and once you press the button, you now start your animation. Your character will do a specific movement, and then at the end of the animation, you will then move back to your animation that you're currently in the middle of, like running or standing still or jumping and things like that. So basically what an animation cancel is, it's when you start your animation, earn the benefit of that action, and cancel any sort of animation that happens after that you would normally be locked into. So, common occurrences of animation canceling in games, we're going to use Overwatch for a lot of these, considering that we're watching some Overwatch gameplay right now. Common occurrence is like Genji's animation canceling, where he would be able to throw out his stars, and then he'd be able to cancel his normal auto attack with his melee. So you would be able to basically auto attack and melee within an instant of each other and earn the damage from both of them. You could then follow this up with a dash. Now, just to note, you cannot do this anymore. It has been changed in Overwatch, and no longer can you do this same exact combo. But the idea is that you would get 3 different damage-dealing abilities all within frames of each other. This animation cancel had a massive benefit, and it was a big deal, and it certainly got fixed into the ground. So common occurrences outside of that would be in fighting games, MMOs, MOBAs, shooters. They're honestly all over. Normally, every single game has an animation cancel of some sort, but the animation canceling we're referring to today is the one where you take it and you exploit it and you use it to earn more benefit than the average player would be able to do with just basic knowledge of the game. So, current genres where you see animation canceling a lot being abused is fighting games such as Super Smash Bros., Street Fighter. There's a lot of other ones such as BlazBlue. And then we also see it in MMOs like Blade and Soul, Black Desert Online. I'm sure there are some in World of Warcraft. We see it in MOBAs, which is where I was first introduced to animation canceling. I saw it in League of Legends and in Dota. And in these games, you would basically quickly cancel the animation of your auto attack consistently, on and off, on and off, on and off, until you were ready to hit a certain monster to make sure that you got the very last hit on it, and that would earn you a lot of benefit. And canceling your animation constantly would make it so that there's less of a delay between you clicking and then your projectile leaving your body and then earning the kill. Shooters, we see it in Overwatch. Nice. We used to see it in Counter-Strike, where people would basically shoot their sniper rifle and cancel the animation of pulling back the bolt action on your sniper. And you would basically swap out of the weapon and back into the weapon and be able to shoot faster than if you were to just press the button to shoot and then let it do its animation and then shoot again. In Overwatch, we see it on a lot of different characters. Genji, Widowmaker, there's the infamous reload animation cancels that are almost on every character with reloadable primary weapon. So how does animation canceling positively affect games? Because, I mean, we're talking a lot about getting nerfed or adding such a massive exploited benefit. How does this positively affect a game on a larger scale? Now, this increases the skill cap of certain characters, and it gives players this heightened sense of character depth from a mechanical perspective. It allows you to feel like you really know your character, and it just feels good. It makes you feel like you're doing something that not everybody can do, and that's putting power in your player's hands, and it's a good thing. It is a good thing for you to feel good about doing something cool on a character that most people or some people can't do. Anything that isn't obvious to a new player that a maybe veteran or just some sort of weekend warrior player has in their arsenal of abilities that, you know, comparatively speaking to a new person in the game, just having that one step over them feels cool, makes you feel like you're a master of something. It gives certain games a chance at spotlights that it wouldn't have otherwise gotten. For instance, certain games might have such big animation cancel exploits that they make headlines on big article big article websites like Kotaku or even IGN, things like that. And this can give games exposure that they otherwise wouldn't have gotten. Sometimes having bad things to be said about your game can be a good thing. This also gives certain characters essentially secret buffs, and it makes them potentially viable without them intending to, from the developers, of course. Let's say that a character's underpowered, but then an animation cancel is discovered for a certain character. They are now overpowered, potentially, and they are now constantly used, and they are now viable. It's potentially something that could save a character from just being thrown into the ground and never really picked up. A lot of people love to see new characters being picked up and played. People love seeing underpowered characters getting stronger and getting better and getting more spotlight in certain situations. Now, animation canceling can positively affect games, but obviously, like some previously mentioned situations, it can definitely negatively affect games as well. It can increase the skill cap of a character, and that can become daunting to new players, making them feel the need to learn a ton of information just for a character to be worthwhile or viable. It can be a huge turnoff for new players, making them believe that this character is overpowered, that they'll never be able to be really good at this character. It ultimately just causes people to look away from a character and possibly a game as a whole. If there's a lot of animation cancels across the board, it can really turn somebody off from a game, from a franchise, from a genre even. A massive negative effect that animation canceling can have on games is also this situation where gamers will find animation cancels and it will result in certain things becoming overpowered, too strong, and people will lash out online, and specifically at developers, at the people who've created the animation cancel or discovered it rather. And this causes a lot of in the community stress, and specifically when people start lashing out at developers, this creates a really shitty relationship between everybody. If the developer can't properly communicate with the gamers, and if they can't have a healthy relationship on hearing the issues with the game, they can't as easily fix the issues, because sometimes there's just so much nonsense being thrown in the air that nothing really constructive comes of it.
I think that's as far as
this helps me segue into my last point. How do you really solve the animation canceling issue?
Well, we have
And honestly, the real answer, you can't. It's an unintended mechanic. It happens all the time. It's up to the players who discover the animation cancels, or even the people who have learned of them, talk to the developers and ensure that they have a good relationship. It's important for both of these parties to communicate with each other, because we need to find balance together. And if we don't find balance together, we can easily see games that just get drilled into the ground, buried beneath the mountains of other games that get buried due to problems with developers communicating with the player base and certain things never getting fixed, the right things not getting fixed. There's just a lot of bad things that can happen from poor communication between the player base and the developers. So animation canceling, all in all, really has a huge amount of effect on a game. It's an unintended mechanic. We can't really help the fact that it's in games, but the best thing that we can do as gamers is properly communicate with the developers the best way we can, wherever it is that the developers communicate with us, whether it be on Twitter, Reddit, or any sort of other image board or the official forums. We have to talk with them and communicate to them what we like and don't like, what we think is fun, what we think is constructive, and we need to make some good come out of learning about unintended mechanics. So there you go, guys. Those are my thoughts on animation canceling. If you liked this video, go ahead and like it. If you disliked it, you know what to do. If your feelings are more complicated than that, or you just want to have a nice little discussion about animation canceling, go ahead and leave a comment in the comment section down below. If you want to get some more gaming content in your life, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I'm going to be doing videos like this, as well as videos pertaining to personal gaming journeys, as well as playthroughs and reviews. Thanks again, guys. See you next time.